Welcome to the High Performance Interviews. Today I am joined by Dionne Mejer from Chicago, now living in the sunny south of California. So welcome, Dionne.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
It's fantastic that you can join us. I'm so thrilled and I'm really looking forward to this interview.
Thank you
So
likewise.
I'd love to introduce you to our audience, first of all, so they have a feel of who you are and a little bit of your background. So, Dionne is a 25 plus year sales and business executive who uses her superpowers of being a recovering people pleaser and perfectionist to help companies and entrepreneurs succeed in life and work. Oh, and she's also written a book called The Stepped Approach, designed for the leaders looking to build their teams to scale. And she has published an ebook to help us get out of the messy middle. So, with that, Dionne, I'd love for you to share your story as to how come you're doing what you're doing now. What's your background? How's that all happened?
Well, thank you for that, Lucy. And we actually also have another free ebook for everybody as well that there will be a link in the show notes for you. It's called The Power of One. And for all of us ADHD driven entrepreneurs out there who would like to try to violate the laws of physics that say you can only do one thing at a time, the Power of One ebook will help you kind of press into that law and truly do one thing at a time really well.
Oh, that sounds
And
fantastic. I love the idea of that.
yeah, Lucy, I think it's one of those things where I'm the same way, where I'm like in my head, things go really fast and very easy. And then you go to do those things and it will take all day. And you're going, oh my gosh, I wanted to finish 10 things today. And this one thing that was really important and very urgent literally took 8 hours of my life.
Hmm.
It's good. However, sometimes our time management skills bring us up short. And so that's where the power of one, being able to step through a process is really helpful and can take the stress out of our sense of urgency
Mm.
and harness it appropriately. So a little bit about why you might want to download that ebook and take a look for those of us that are wanting to reduce our stress and not increase it.
Very wise.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. So, and that's here to answer your question of why I do what I do. That's exactly it. Is I love what I do. I help people and companies. I'm a sales and business coach and helping people build their sales teams and build a business. We do pure business coaching, no fluff, very tactical, get down to it. You're going to build your business. You said you were going to do these things. What happened? And we've got an academy and a course and all of that good stuff for people to take advantage of to learn about marketing and creating offers. But really, what we're after and solving for is guiding people through the process of building their business or building their sales team. And because there's a way to do it that is scalable, that isn't us as the recovering people pleaser and overfunctioner here, I'll just do it for you. Nope. And it's learning how to harness that heart of service in such a way that allows our team to grow and thrive.
Mm. I
So
love that.
does that answer why I
I
do what I
love
do?
that.
Yeah.
It answers why you do what you do. And tell us kind of the lead up to that. So, what is your backstory, if you like, Dionne? Where did it all start from? I mean, you said you were a people pleaser and a perfectionist, but give us a little bit more about the real Dionne.
Yeah, I'm actually crafting a talk of confessions of a recovering perfectionist and people pleaser. And so I'll test it on you and your audience, Lucy. 7 is the number of times my biological parents have been married. 8 is the number of siblings I have, whether half, whole, or step. I think 8 out of 10 in the US, there's something called the ACEs survey, which is adverse conditions that children experience, right? Everything from trauma to abuse to whatever. So 8 out of 10, right? Grew up in the Midwest, had a very poor upbringing, right? All that good stuff. And 4 out of the 5 of us that grew up in our same household are literally convicted felons in the United States of America. I looked around, yeah, and said, I'm not doing this.
Wow.
So I shouldn't be here. I should be a statistic. I should not be living the life I'm living. And so, but a lot of the survival tools to get through that as a kid carry over with you as you enter adulthood, right? And
Mhm.
so I knew I didn't want that life. I knew I didn't want to feel a certain way. I knew there was a better life. I looked around and saw people had different life and were functional, and they were actually able to have conversations without they were able to have difficult conversations without it de-escalating into a fight where the cops were called. I wanted that.
Yeah. Gosh. And you went and got that.
I did. I went through high school. I graduated college in 3.5 years. I went to a public Lutheran or a private Lutheran college in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I graduated in 3.5 years with a double major and a minor because I was like, I am out. I want to live my own life. And I own all of the bumps and ups and downs and everything in between.
Yes, but you totally took back control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? This isn't a story of poor me or my parents did me wrong. Like that's not what it is. And I have a great relationship with all of my parents and I and my siblings. I wouldn't be who I am today and where I am today without them because there were moments of great love too.
Mm.
And I think that's the story of being able to harness all of that and the harness all of the ups and the downs and have a heart of gratitude for it, forgiveness, right? Because nothing's perfect. But I think too, Lucy, it's the survival skills of getting through some of that. If we don't address it and really go through the deep work, and whether that's therapy for you or whatever it is, right? Whatever form that takes, it's really about deconstructing and leveraging those skills we did learn in a trauma environment and leveraging them as an adult with full agency and control over our life to be like, hey, man, this is the real Dionne. I'm going to go do what I'm going to do. And if you like it, awesome. Let's go conquer mountains together. And if that's not for you, that's okay too. I
No,
wish you,
that feeling that is just magnetic, I think.
yeah,
I'm sure it must draw people to you. It's you have taken something that could be absolutely terrible for the rest of your life. You've reframed it, you've turned it around, you've learned from it, you've used those lessons, you've put them something into positive, firstly for yourself, Dionne, which is fabulous.
thank
And
you.
then with that, you have gone, oh, and now I can use this and these skills and these tools and the way I got through this to help others. That's
Absolutely.
what we need more of.
Yeah.
That's what we need more of. And
Yeah.
it didn't sound like a sob story at all. It felt like a story of strength to me. That's
Yeah.
how it landed. And
Good.
so you're bringing all of these skills into, is it big companies that you serve? What sort of size companies do
Yeah.
you serve, Dionne? Share a bit more
Yeah.
about that.
So a couple of things. So we pride my background is all B2B technology professional services. So we really work with organizations in the B2B space. I have some coaches on my team in the B2C space, and we work really well with folks in mid-market and SMB. And then we have a private coaching group for entrepreneurs in the startup community as well.
Okay, so for our listeners out there, if you're not sure what B2B is, it's business to business. B2C is business to customer, and you said another acronym which was SMB.
Oh, small business. Yeah. So we play well with folks in that 80 million, $50 million range. And then of course we launched earlier this year our startup and entrepreneurial coaching for folks as well. So we offer group coaching. I'm going to post a video on it, but it's one of those things where Lucy, when COVID hit, man, I knew what I wanted was somebody, I wanted help. I wanted a community. The whole world was falling apart for us. We were going through a really difficult family time. My kids are 14 and 12, and what during COVID was how many years ago? 4. So they were what, 10 and 8, 7. My son's on the autism spectrum. He went from going to school and having a team of 9 people help him,
Right.
really, to coming home and being told to sit in front of a computer.
Oh
Like,
my
and
word.
everybody was trying, but man, Shevitz, it was terrible. Right. So again, it's, how do we kind of take the things that were meant to cut us off at the knees and use it for good? And so that's where the entrepreneurial group for founders and startups is really designed to, hey, we're going to come together, we're going to lock arms, and we're going to conquer mountains together, because that's what we need. We don't
Mm.
need friends. We need people that are going to tell us the truth and help us move.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
And can help you get off the ground in tricky situations,
Yes.
because getting off the ground, even in easy situations, is hard enough when you're starting a business, right? So to have all of that support, amazing. So your company has been going since before COVID, right? Since before lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went to market in 2014 as inside sales by design, and we were parachuting into tech companies, building their inside sales team and going on to the next one. So we rebranded recently to Revenue by Design, and we still offer those same services to organizations that are wanting to start and or refresh their inside sales or digital sales team. We're wrapping extended sales coaching into our services with that as well. And that's where the coaching for business owners as well comes into play.
Mm.
So because that's what we do, and we work with in our larger engagements, we still work with folks in a very structured, programmatic way. We help them build programs and build a program that everybody learns how to use. And that's what leads to scalability. Same thing for our entrepreneurs. When we are working with our entrepreneurs, we help them, right? Because I'm their say, I'm sure you are too, Lucy. So I have a heart for entrepreneurs and to give help for all of us, right? I don't have all the answers by any stretch of the imagination, but together we're definitely going to be better.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. And I love the name as well, Revenue by Design, when you can design things how
Yes,
you want to. Yeah.
power. Like we have power, Lucy. So,
We do, we do. And okay, so there was something you slipped in there as well, was with the entrepreneur. You love working with entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs that are setting up a new business, or entrepreneurs who are setting up an own, like a lone trader business. Which of those,
um,
or both of those?
we work with both.
You work with both. Okay.
Yeah.
One to one or one to many?
We have a couple different options for folks. So we've got clients that are in that 10 million space, 8 to 10 million. They're in our business academy. So we've got a business academy with a year's worth of videos, everything from learning digital marketing to how to set up your alliances. So we've got folks that might be a little bit more further down the road, and that's a different price point. We also have programs for folks in that, $500 a month range, where they have access to the academy and access to group coaching.
I love the group settings. I love it when I run a group
It's so
course. It's
fun.
oh, it's just wonderful. Everybody comes together, everybody
Isn't
wants
it
to help
amazing?
everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can all get messy together, and it's a safe place,
Yep.
and everybody's sharing insights and helping each other. So tell me some strategies that you use to cope, to recharge yourself, because it sounds like you have an exceedingly busy life, not
Yeah.
only at work, but also when you go back home with your
Yeah.
children, right? And etc. So what strategies do you use to actively recover for yourself, Dionne, and you have your own
Yeah.
time?
So I'm going to answer that. And Lucy, I want to hear what you do to keep your tank full as well. So this is where when I a little tongue in cheek talk about being a recovering people pleaser, because I will pour out and give. And I do. I love serving people. That's what fills my tank. I like to give. I like to do things for people. I like to help. So that's where crossing that line when you start doing things for people is where it gets a little messy, right? So for me, it's truly our tagline for our business is be deliberate, be intentional, be successful. I cannot float. I do not function well in the gray. And so things are nailed down, right? And so I'm not spontaneous because it throws me off, right? Like I have to plan to be spontaneous.
Yep, I hear you.
And so for me, it's really about having concrete goals and concrete things that I need to do every day. Otherwise, like randomly, I would put on my calendar, make calls or do some marketing activities or call the CPA or, if I didn't have details in that calendar invite, it just throws me for a loop. So it's truly about operating in the speed and now, at least for me, and putting a system in place and then holding myself accountable to that system to get stuff done and go deep in certain things. Otherwise, I'm a surface level 1,000 miles an hour and I miss things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, okay. And that's very much to do with the peak performance side and strategies that you use, right? This is what I teach on. Absolutely. Get
Yeah.
really, really clear on your daily goals. And that clarity is breaking it down into sort of almost micromanaging that slot of time. Because then you
Yes.
don't go, what does make calls mean? Where do I start?
What
Who
the
do I
heck was I
call?
thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
make calls. And you sit there for half an hour thinking, well, who do I need to call? But you need to call people, right? And and you go, oh yeah, so and so and so and so. But if you've got it written down, it makes it so clear. You defined, there is no overwhelm. You just go to it and you get so much more done in less time, which is something
100%.
I absolutely advocate. So yes,
Love
now
that.
brilliant. So the other thing, so yes, I do exactly that, Dionne.
Okay. Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to find out is you said it fills your cup to help others.
Yeah.
Yes. You still need to take
Yes.
rest from helping others. So
Yes.
define that part of how you fill your cup.
Mm. Mm. That's so good, Lucy. And I'll be so curious to hear what other people say because my husband tells me, you can say no. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like that's not in my vocabulary. What the holy bananas are you talking about? Right. So I have to give credit to him because he saw it and recognized it. He's like, you're running yourself ragged. And I know that, right? But sometimes we need that message. In this case, it was from him and as my loved one, as my husband, right?
Yeah.
And it really resonated with me because again, I want to be there for him. I love this man. Like we're going to retire together and sit on the beach and right. That's the whole, put your air mask on first before you help others. Again, it's carving out that time that says, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to sit by myself. I'm going to have my coffee. At the end of the night, I'm going to sit down and I love playing solitaire on my phone. And so I'll indulge in, but I have to set a timer, right? Otherwise, the time gets away. So it's again carving out what are those things that need to happen, or I'll go for a walk and I will listen to nothing.
Good.
The hyper productivity in me says I have to use every single minute I'm awake. And so what I've started doing is in the morning, I walk and I talk and I'll call my family and then I'll try to carve out another 20 minutes and I go and I walk the dogs again and I'll listen to nothing.
Good.
So to your point, like finding those strategies and saying, okay, am I overwhelmed? How am I feeling? And what do I need to do about it? So really staying in that flow, right? And then making sure I'm deploying those strategies appropriately. What do you tell me your thoughts on that? Because this is your area of
It's
expertise.
very
I'm just
much
kind of, amateurishly getting my way through it all.
Very much. Okay. So from what I hear from what you said, it was like, I need to try to do this thing in the morning and carve out some time for myself. I need to find a way to do something in
Yep.
and sometimes I go for a walk with nothing. It was like, that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's not trying to do something, it's actually doing it and putting it in your day. Because here's the thing, Dionne, rest is part of work.
Yes.
Rest is part of your work.
Yes.
And when people get that, really get it, not just, oh, yeah, rest is part of work. But when I teach that and people can see that and they feel it
Yeah.
because they actually put it into their day
Yeah.
and they stop and they're
Yeah.
mindful and there's no phones and there's no emails and there's no pinging going on and there's nothing distracting you and you're not looking at anything digital
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're even wall staring,
Yeah.
you know, or the way I do it is cloud staring. As long as
Love it.
it's nice enough here. And I'll go out and I'll do breath work and I'll cloud stare and I'll do some
Yes.
stretching.
Yeah.
That's what active recovery is, but it's part of your job to do active recovery.
Yeah.
So I know I kind of gone into coaching mode here.
I love it. No, and you know what? Thank you. And I love that articulation. And because when we do coaching with our sales teams, we drive that articulation around messaging and stuff and messaging for ourselves and why we do what we do. But to your point, and this is why these are so fun, is articulation around these strategies that we need to do to make ourselves whole. They're so important.
Yeah.
Why do we forget that?
Mm. Yeah, it's because we're empaths. I can hear you're an empath
Mm.
as well. You like to give, you love to help, you want to, and it's great that you've gone, oh, I mustn't do it for somebody. I have to teach them how to do it and stop. There's my boundary. So it's another thing I teach on is boundaries. And I'm sure you probably teach that within what you do, but
Yes.
remembering it in yourself, for yourself,
Yeah.
putting it in place for yourself can be a little bit more tricky, right?
Always, always. I just recently heard this phrase of you can't read the label from inside the jar.
Yes.
And when you said that, that's what made me think of that phrase. And it's so true. And I've got business coaching clients and they go, Dionne, this has been such a great conversation. It's always so good. And I said, but that's why we do it because we can't coach ourselves. And we shouldn't.
No.
So
Have you tried? I've tried. I thought, oh, I can do that. I'm a good coach. I can coach. No, there's
no,
no way.
we cannot coach ourselves.
No.
Nope. Nope.
No.
We have too many blind spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Inside the jar.
Yes. That's right. Yes.
The other
Yes.
side of the label. I love that image.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Okay. So, I would love to invite our audience to connect with you if they feel that you are somebody who can really take their business forward. I feel from what we spoke about before, Dion, you physically go into people's businesses and work with them. So presumably your clientele are close around the Southern California area. Is that right?
Yes, but we travel, right? And so if we're going to work with teams, there's value in getting people together in person.
Mm.
So yeah, we travel.
Yeah. Okay. So somewhere in America, if you're somewhere
There
in
you go.
America.
Yeah. Absolutely. Although I have made it up to Toronto as well, which was lovely.
Oh, okay. So Canada's calling. Anybody out there from Canada, you can also get in touch
There
with
you go.
Dionne.
Yeah.
So all of your details are going to be in the box below. So thank you so much, Dionne. I will just ask you one final question. What might your top tips be for somebody who is struggling with their team and everybody seeing something on the same page and the things that you know that you can help with? What would their first steps perhaps be?
I would give two pieces of advice to folks is one, as a leader, my question would be, are your expectations clear? And how do you know? Because to your point, a lot of times as leaders, we think we're being super clear. The answer is no. And the way you can find out if whether or not you're clear in your expectations, if you're in person, get your team together and play a game of telephone.
Oh,
Because I
tell me more.
guarantee you, yeah, it sounds so funny. Some of you are probably like, what the heck? I'm not playing that kids game. Do it. Have fun with your team. And I guarantee you that will shine a light on the fact that no, your expectations are not clear. Because articulation, like we're talking about, Lucy, is really hard. So, and here's the example I give when I talk with folks is my kids are 14 and 12. When they were babies, though, and sitting at the table, 3, 4 years old, I really would like them to have table manners. And so the expectation is you say please and thank you, you push your chair in, right? And also don't talk with your mouth full. And so my daughter's 4 years old. She's going to get up and leave the table. She asks if she can be excused. And I say, well, your mouth needs to be empty, sweet girl. And so she chews and swallows her food, gets up, puts her plate in the dishwasher, and off she goes. Awesome. It's done. Same age. God bless it. Mom, can I be excused? Absolutely. Please, your mouth needs to be empty and then you may go. He looks at me dead in the eye, Lucy, spits his food out into his hand, puts it on his plate, and says, I'm done. And then like gets up and puts his stuff in the dishwasher, right? That is how we know we're not clear with our expectations.
Yeah.
And it might seem like we're micromanaging, and that's a big misnomer too. There's a
Mm.
difference between micromanaging and accountability.
Yes.
You got it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, driving to level of specificity. And then the other thing that we really focus on with people is create your team purpose statement. And we have a template we'll be happy to give people. It's a 3-prompt template that helps you create a purpose statement for your team. Because without purpose, abuse is inevitable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I have a question for
I
you.
love that.
During our time together, what has been kind of your aha moment and takeaway?
Well, I think we so align.
Yeah,
All right. You're now talking about purpose, which is something I teach on with peak performance. And so that's fantastic. I love the way that you go into teams and get them all on the same page. Right. And that's something I'm a solo entrepreneur, so I don't have to do that.
yeah,
But being able to see that there's somebody out there that specializes in that is really uplifting. So that's fantastic. And to know that you have probably got ADHD, but you've managed to rein it in and do what you're doing. And so that's also for our audience is fantastic because they're thinking, oh my goodness, I've got ADHD, I'm no good at this, I can't do that, and I mess this up. You can, again,
yeah.
probably with coaching, get some help. And it might be very different than Dion's way of doing it because
Totally.
that one way isn't for everybody, right? There are lots of different ways, but don't give up on yourself, whoever you are, whatever your struggles are, keep
Yeah,
going. You can break
absolutely.
through the struggle.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that you said that, Lucy. Never give up. There's always a solution. There's always a solution, and life is messy. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
And the struggle is part of the process.
It is.
Mm,
It is.
def-
And yeah, and to that point too, we always talk about, the struggle is real, but it's not permanent.
mm. Like a storm, it passes.
Yes. And how beautiful is it after the rain ends?
Yeah. The calm
Beautiful.
after the storm. Yeah.
Yes.
It has been absolutely delightful to speak with you, Dionne. I'm
Thank you.
so glad that you took time out of your day to share with myself and with the audience. So thank you so much. Thank you to our audience for taking the time, energy, and attention to listen in. There will be another video coming up on screen. So do hop over there and I'll see you over there. And in the meantime, have an absolutely awesome day. And thanks again, Dionne.
Thank you, Lucy. It was really, really a pleasure talking with you and your audience.
Likewise. Take care. Bye for
Thanks, you too.
now.